Wednesday. So I wonder, has everybody else had like every season this week? We've had spring, summer, winter, and fall all this week. We've had snowstorms, we had blizzards, we had snow, we had, oh my gosh. And then like tomorrow it's supposed to be like 60. We had so much bunch of snow. I didn't bother to shovel. I figured it's gonna melt. So I decided not to shovel. So how's everybody's weather doing? Hopefully you guys are doing better than we are. So there's somebody from Wyoming here. Cool. So yeah, so sometimes the weather is crazy in Iowa. I live in Iowa. Yeah, we have 3 seasons in one day. Yep, I can totally understand that. Hot in California. Yeah, they said that there's a bunch of places that it normally doesn't get as hot, and they're really hot, and then we got really cold again because it was like down in the teens here. So it really got cold. It was really nice. It was 60 and more, and then all of a sudden it was like in the teens. So we had some crazy weather. So it's supposed to warm up for a couple days and then get colder again. So who knows? It's spring in Iowa. So welcome to spring, right? So it was kind of a busy day. I haven't said much on Sew Along with Jan. I wanted to tell you just a little bit about what's going on in my life. The store that I've been working in, Shield Sewing Center, is actually closing at the end of March. And I've worked there for 20 years. And I have been so gifted to be hired with another company called Busy Bees Sewing Center in Davenport. So we had some people, very nice people buy our store that was in the Davenport area of Iowa. And I'm going to be working for them starting around the 1st of April. So we were really busy today because today was the first day of the sale. And so we were very, very busy. Oh yeah. So everybody's talking about it sounds like everybody's been having kind of weird weather. It's fun to watch the comments because been a lot of weird weather this year. I mean, people are really, really hot. People are cold. It's just amazing. Yes, we were very, very busy. So if any of you live in the area and are within driving, so you would be working the same location. I will not be. I'll be working instead of in Iowa City, because I've been working in Iowa City, Iowa. I'll now be working in Davenport, Iowa. It's about an hour down the road. So, but I'm very excited. I have a job that I'll love, and I'll get to stay with my students and my customers that I've had for 20 years because we were the same store for a long time. And so I'm excited about that. And then Sew Along with Jan will continue as always. So we'll continue with that and do classes 2 or 3 times a month. I'd like to do more pre-recorded videos and do 2 lives just because it's a little easier for me to do pre-recorded than I can do them when I have time. So I think we're going to, hopefully this summer, I'll get more pre-recorded videos done. Last summer I had that terrible allergy and it just took me completely out for the whole summer. So hopefully this summer I'll have more time. So anyway, I'm glad yes, I'm so glad that I can stay with, my customers and my students. I'm so excited about that. And they were so kind to hire me, and I'm very excited about getting started down there. But first we have to clean up, and finish up in Iowa City. So, but anyway, that's what we've been doing. So it was a very exciting day today. Yes. So I'm going to do lives and pre-recorded. So absolutely. Okay. So tonight, so that's a little bit what's going on in my life. I've had kind of a weird couple of months. So that's why it's been different, but we're getting there. So, all right. So we are going to make some Easter cards tonight. And so the Easter cards are available on my website. So let me put my banner here down and put my website up. So if you don't know the website, it's sew-along-with-jan.square.site. And that's where you go to get, and they're linked in the video, in the description below this video also. But we're going to make some Easter cards. So there's 2 Easter cards available. There's an Easter blessings card And then there's also a Happy Easter card with the little bunnies. So I think tonight we're going to make the Easter Blessings card because I thought you'd like to see the applique with the embroidery leather. So that's the one I think we'll do tonight. Now, remember to make a comment. So that's where you go to get them. sew-along-with-jan.square.site. So make sure you make comments, and at the end of the class, someone's gonna win the card. Okay, so make sure you make a comment, and that's how you get entered to win the card, and I will mail you the card. Okay. All right. So let's go back here so I can see what people are saying. Okay. So we're gonna make a card tonight. I think we'll do that one though because it has that applique, and I thought you'd like to see the applique part with the embroidery leather. And then, and I want to show you one other thing. So on my website, I had people telling me that they were having a hard time finding that Peltex with the single-sided fusible on it. And so I made some little sets for you. So if you want to order this on my website, I've still got the website up on the screen here. These are also on there, and this is the ones for the A2 cards that we're going to make tonight, the small ones. So there's 6 in a package, and these are the ones that have the fusible on one side. So then you can just order them, and they're all cut for you. So here's the A2s, and then I've got the 5x7s up there too. Okay, so there's some people were having trouble finding this stuff, and I thought, well, I'll just make up some sets that you could just order them and I can mail them to you. Okay, so those are also up there on my website. The little ones I think are $4 and the bigger ones are $6. Okay, all right, so we got that out of the way. Okay, so let me switch over to the camera here, and let's see, I'll get the banner down off of here. Give me a second, and let's switch over to the camera, and let's do some sewing tonight. I'm excited to sit down and sew. It was very busy today, so I was running around, and it was nice to get home and be able to sit down. And now I'm going to sit down, and I'm going to have fun sewing on my new machine. So, all right, so let's get the camera and the microphone changed. All right, so hopefully you'll be able to hear me okay. I'm going to get my comments back up here. Okay, what's the difference between the A2 and the 5.7? So, Maureen, the A2 size are the small size. This is the small size for the A2 cards. So the smaller cards need this size, and I've got them all cut the right size for you. Okay, and then the 5x7 are for the bigger cards. I haven't done as many 5x7 cards. There are some. I think I've only done either 4 or 6 of those, and most of them are the smaller cards. But I have done some of the 5x7, so I made both sizes. Okay, so there's just different sizes of cards. So most of the ones I've done lately have been A2. I like that size because they mail nicely and they're not real big. So, okay, all right. So let's talk about what we need to do these cards. So we're just going to make one. So the set that you can buy has both of these cards on it. So it has both the Easter Blessings card and the Happy Easter card. Okay. So those are both in the set, and it's $6 for the 2 cards. And these are A2. So these are the smaller ones. And then if you wanted the little Peltex pieces, you can order those. Now you do need to order the cards separately from these, because these are a physical product and these are a digital product. So make sure you make 2 orders if you want these. These have to be on one order and these have to be on another. Okay. So my website's a little bit, it's not very fancy, so it doesn't make you make those 2 orders separately. Okay, so I've got the instructions. So in the let me pull this back a little bit. My camera, I'm still having a little trouble with the camera mount because this machine is so much bigger. It doesn't like the camera too well. Camera gets in the way, or the machine gets in the way of the camera. Okay, so in the set, there will be the 2 card designs, of course, in all the different formats. And then there are the instructions. So here's the instructions here. And what we need to make these cards, and we've done a few of these before, you need a 5x7 hoop. Okay. I'm using a stabilizer. Let me get it over here. This is a tearaway tacky surface stabilizer. So this happens to be the OESD stable stick tearaway is what I'm using tonight. I sometimes use Floriani Perfect Stick. That's the other one that I use quite often. But it's a tacky tearaway stabilizer. Okay. You need that. You need some Peltex, and that's what we were talking about earlier. So I've got my Peltex pieces here. This is my Peltex pieces, and I have ironed a piece of fabric on top. And you can see it's the white with the little silver speckles. I really like the little silver speckles because it just makes it just pretty. Some people do these with just Peltex, and the Peltex isn't very pretty to sew on, so this makes it so much prettier with the fabric. And then I like the single-sided fusible because you can just iron it right on, and you don't have to have anything else. If you don't have the fusible type, you can get just the sew-in Peltex. Then you need a piece of heat and bond that you can bond to the Peltex, and then bond the fabric to that. Okay, so I have the fusible version, which is number 71F. It's Pellon 71F as in Frank, and then the sew in is number 70. So those are the two Peltex, and I put the numbers in here for you. You'll need some cardstock. So we're actually going to be sewing partially on fabric and partially on cardstock. So you'll need some cardstock. No, the Davenport store, Patsy, was purchased by some other people, and they hired me, and the name of the store is Busy Bees Sewing Center. So they are newly opened in November, and so that's where I'll be working, and so it's still open. Okay. All right, so you need some white cardstock. I usually use white for my background that I'm going to sew on. This is 100 pound or 110 pound. You need a pretty yeah, you just ordered some Peltex. Yeah, because it's kind of hard to find right now. I've had a lot of people calling me telling me they're having trouble finding it. So here's 110. I think these might be 110 pound cardstock. I get this cardstock at Hobby Lobby. It's their extra heavyweight. And that works really well because remember, we have to sew into this. So you want a good heavy cardstock. Okay. And then you need some either 80 or 100 pound. That's this little layer that I'm just going to put behind my cardstock here. And I give you the measurements in the next section, how big they will need to be. Yes, the new store will have a website. It's not quite ready yet. So it's Busy Bees, and it's not with 2 E's. It's Busy B''S Sewing Center. And yes, they will have a website. I don't think it's quite up and running yet, but when I get down there, we'll make sure it is so everybody can order. Okay. I know that everybody's been asking me that. That's very important. All right. So this black piece is 80 pound, I think. And that works fine because you're not sewing into this one. You're just gluing it. And then, or you can use 100 pound. It depends on what you have. I just happen to have 80 on this. So that's fine. That works fine. And then we need a fabric glue stick. Okay. And you need your embroidery threads. And then we're going to be using my, my Sweet Petunia, my precision glue press. And it has a special craft glue in it. And you want to use a good craft glue because it really sticks really quickly. It's not the same as like tacky glue or something. This is a craft glue. So this happens to be Nuvo glue, and that's my favorite one. There's a lot of really good craft glues. So if you use craft glues, pick one of those, okay? So this is Nuvo glue. So we're going to use that in a little bit too. All right, so I gave you all the sizes for your Peltex. It's 3 3/4 by 5 for these smaller cards. And that is what's in this little pack. These are 3 3/4 by 5. They're all cut out for you already. Your heat and bond, if you're using it, because in my case, I'm not, you would need it the same size, and the cotton fabric is 3 3/4 by 5. So that's what this piece is right here. And then I ironed it to my Peltex on the fusible. I have a single fusible side. Then we're going to have, oh, for this one, we're going to have a little piece of embroidery leather. So where the heck did that go? Let's see here. Oh, nope. Hopefully I didn't lose it. I know I had it here. It was laying here earlier. I'll keep looking. It's here. Just like maybe it fell down underneath here. I know I have it. Oh, here it is. So we got a piece of embroidery leather. Now this is this is kind of the, what's this called? Camel brown, I think. This is from Kimberbell, the embroidery leather. And you could use something else too. This is going to be raw edge applique. So I used embroidery leather. You could use like glitter vinyl or something like that too if you wanted to. But remember, it is going to be raw edge applique, so you don't want to use something that's going to ravel. Let's see. And then we needed our card base. So this card base is cut 3 3/4 by 5. I'm also going to, I linked in the video description below, the other videos that I've done about how to cut your papers and different ways to cut your papers. You can just cut them with a rotary cutter. You can cut them with a paper trimmer. I ran this through my die cutting machine, so I have that cute little stitch around it. But they all end up being 3 3/4 by 5. My little black piece is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. So it's just a little bit bigger, so it peeks out all the way around the edge. Okay. So that's my pieces of paper. And then I have a card base. Now my card bases are going to be, let's see, I think I made both of my, well, I made one way and one this way. So this one's a book fold. Okay. So this one is cut 8.5, or I'm sorry, 5.5 by 8.5, and then I folded it in the middle at 4 1/4. Okay, and I say that in the instructions here. This is a top fold, so I like the top fold. This one is cut the long way of the paper, so I cut it 4 1/4 by 11, and then I scored it at 5.5 so that it would open at the top. These are nice, because see, then I can set them up like this. I like to set the cards up so I can look at them. Okay. So that's why I have 2 different ones here. All right. So those are our card bases. Got our paper. Here's my embroidery leather. Okay. So let's move these out. Now remember to make your comments so you can win the card at the end. Okay. So we are going to be using, I've got my brother colors here. If I turn my page, the first one is the little, I'll put this up in front. This is the color numbers for the bunny that I used for the little bunny card, Happy Easter. And I'll put this up here so you can see the color numbers. These are brother colors, by the way. So you can see that one too. I always like to at least put them on the camera so you can write them down if you want to. And then, but we're going to do the Easter blessings, which is this one. So here's the colors we're going to use. We're going to use white. Now this one here is a Madeira color. It happened to match the leather the best. I couldn't find a brother one that matched the leather real well. We're going to use leaf green, emerald green, flush pink, pink, dark brown, deep gold, and violet. Okay. Yeah, the size of needle is a number 11 embroidery needle. I use Oregon large eye embroidery needles. So that it's it's a number 11, 7511. Okay. So I've got in my hoop here my tearaway, tacky tearaway. And what I did is I hooped it, you know, with the paper at the top. Okay. My A2 Peltex I bought from you barely fits the bunny card design. Oh, it will just barely fit, Marie, because when you sew around it, I'll talk about that when I get here in a minute. You're just going to tack around the outside edge, but you're going to be cutting it off. So watch what I do tonight, and that will help you, okay? Because you're going to be cutting it off. All right. because it's big enough for to be caught by the fabric or the outline, but it is, you're going to actually be cutting it down. So I'll show you here in a minute. Okay. So no, leave the design the same size. All right. So I've got this in here. What I did is I hooped this with the paper up, you know, like the paper you remove to expose the sticky. And I just scored it with my scissors through here and I pulled it up. Now the next one, I have another one over here. We'll do that one when we do the second hooping, because there's 2 hoopings here. Okay, so I'm going to put this in. The other thing I wanted to show you is I know this last, I have a little trouble sometimes with the thread when I'm just sewing on the stabilizer, picking up the bobbin thread. So I put my bobbin in and then I left the tail. See how I left this tail laying here? That's my trick to get it to pull the thread up. So that's a good way to do that. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and put this back in. This is the 5x7 hoop. So you don't need a real big hoop to do any of these. Okay. So it says the first thing we're going to do is we adhere the fabric to the Peltex, either using the fusible surface or the heat and bond lights. So we had the fusible surface on mine. Then I'm going to hoop the adhesive stabilizer in the hoop, remove the cover to expose the tacky surface. And I already did that. So the first color we're going to use is white. So the first couple things we're going to use the white thread. So I've got white thread in my needle. I've got a pre-wound bobbin in my bobbin, just my regular white pre-wound bobbin I always use. And I have a number 11 embroidery needle in. Okay, so let's go over here and get our design. Now I sent my designs over here with my design database transfer. So here, they're going to be in this little pocket right here. And here's the bunny. And here's the happy, or here's the Easter blessing. So we're going to do Easter blessing. So I'm going to get that one first. And then I'm going to hit set. Okay, so we got it set and I'm going to hit embroidery. Okay. So we go back over here. Okay. So the first step says that we're going to, this is the placement line for the Peltex and the fabric. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and sew out step number 1. I got to find my Peltex and fabric because we'll put that down next. Instructions over here so we don't mess up something. I am kind of tired. It got really busy at the store today, so I was running the cash register, so I was having to think all day. Okay, so there's our outline. You probably can't see it too well because I did it in the white thread. So we're going to lay this piece of Peltex and the fabric down in that line. Like that. Okay. And then step number 2 is going to tack this down to the stabilizer. Yes, yes. Somebody asked if we could watch the video later, and it'll be up on YouTube. Just go to Sew Along with Jan on YouTube, and this will be under the playlist for the cards, the embroidered cards. So you can see this tacks down, but it's very close to the edge, and that's what we want. Okay, so there's our design. The third step is also going to be in white, and it says it's the quilting. So we're just going to quilt this background then. Thank you, Teresa. Yeah, I'm very excited to get started. You know, it'll be kind of, you know, it's always scary to try new things. So, but I'll feel like I know everybody. So that'll be really nice to have that comfort, you know, to know people and my students and everything. So I'm looking very much forward to it. I know these are so fun, and they're easy to make, and they turn out so cute. So I've really enjoyed making cards. I was trying to think of something this year we could do kind of as a series that we do some for different seasons, and that I picked cards. All right, so we're getting our little quilting in there. Probably a little hard to see because it's white. And then I think the next steps are going to be done for, we're going to do the applique. I gotta find my brown over here. Now I had to do this in a Madeira. So this is Madeira number 1726. It just seemed to match well. I couldn't find a good brown in my brother thread that matched my leather very well. So, okay. So I'm going to change my color to my brown. Change my color just a second here. Gosh, I've got so much stuff over here. Get our brown in here. We're going to do the applique. And this is going to be, again, this is raw edge applique. So be aware, you can pick anything you want for the fabric, but be aware that it is raw edge. So, second, oh my gosh, I still have not found my cutter back there very well. I'm still struggling. Okay. And this is going to be then number 4, and it's going to be the cross placement line. So we're going to do our placement line and get ready for our applique piece here. I just wanted something simple, and I really like flowers, as you probably have guessed, because I do make flowers. Okay, so now we're going to lay this down. Now I have to say the little piece of fabric is 2 by 3, and it could be just a hair bigger if you want to have a little more wiggle room. It is plenty big enough, but this embroidery leather is kind of expensive, so I wanted to keep it down as small as possible, but you might have to hold it a little bit. So we're going to lay that down, and now it's going to stitch it down. So step number 5 is going to be the stitch down for this embroidery leather, and you might need to hold it a little bit just to get it started. It's none too large, let's put it that way. It's going to do a triple stitch. I know you're having trouble with it. Yeah, a lot of people tell me they have trouble with the Avenir cutter. It's behind the needle threader. So it's like back here, and I'm still struggling. It's just the angle. I mean, I've threaded those machines for 20 years, and so many times I'm still struggling with it. I'm getting used to it, more used to it now. So, okay. Now we're going to trim our embroidery leather. So remember, this is raw edge, so you don't want to be very close. I mean, I bought 1/8 of an inch, and the trick with this, some of the embroidery leathers are the same color, like inside, and some are lighter. And this one is a little lighter. So you want to tip your scissors so that they're straight up and down, so you don't get a bevel to show that real light color. And I'm staying about 1/8 of an inch from the stitching because it's raw edge. So I got my scissors tipped up towards me, and I'm trying to keep it as straight as I can. That's why I wanted to do a very simple shape, so you didn't have to work. It's a little harder to trim embroidery leather. I've always struggled a little bit cutting it because it's kind of thick, and some of it has a real light center, and this one is also got a light center. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing here, just turning it. So take your time while you're cutting. Trying to keep my scissors kind of turned to the side. I've got a little spot in here that needs to come out if I can get it trimmed. I have a little trouble in the corners. Okay, keeping my scissors tipped towards me and trying to keep them. And the other scissors that work pretty well, there's a little pair of little precision scissors that Floriani used to make. that are really pretty good for this. They have a teeny tiny little tip and they're flatter. I still find that I do just as well with these scissors, even though they have a curved blade on them. I can manipulate them better. I don't know. But try to keep your scissors really up and down, because that way you won't get that funny little bevel edge on there. You still haven't been able to play nice with the scan and cut? I love my scan and cut. Okay, so the next one of the next classes we're going to do is I got my my connection that you activate in the machines with the scan and cut. Yes, you could use gold glitter for the cross also. Yes. I like the leather. I don't know. The gold glitter would be really pretty too. I had some brown glitter, but it was so dark. And I decided I didn't have the right color. I wanted something a little bit lighter brown, something not so dark. And all I had was this real, like really, really dark brown glitter. So I decided to go with this. Okay. It's a little harder to trim though. You can see I have to kind of take my time. Okay. I think I have to come around this way because there's a little piece in the corner here. Because embroidery leather is kind of a special thing, and you have to kind of take your time working with it. And this one's a little thicker than some of them are. You know, like physically thicker. I don't know why, but it seems like it is anyway. Has a kind of a soft background. Okay, so I didn't do very well on this side. So let's see if I can get this one looking a little bit better here. Somebody must be walking their pooch outside. My doorbell just went off. Yeah, the thin cork, that might work really nice too. Do you need a special? No, not at all. This is just a regular embroidery, a regular number 11 embroidery needle. Nope, I don't use anything special for the paper. Okay, so I think that looks pretty good. So there's our cross. We got our cross done. So again, that's raw edge applique. Okay. All right, so now I think we're ready for leaves, I think. We'll take the brown out, and I think the next one I was using is leaf green. I'm going to do a lighter color. Yeah, the cork would be a good idea. I just didn't have any cork. So we're going to do leaf green next. So a lighter green. Make sure I got the right one here. So here's the leaf green. Take my time back there and find the little cutter. Yeah, cork would be really fun. They have a lot of different colors of cork, and I just didn't happen to have any, so that's why I chose this. Put this back in. Okay. And I gotta thread my machine. I always forget to thread it. Do you guys forget to thread your machine too? I always do. All right. So now we're gonna do some of the lighter colored leaves. Yeah, I'm anxious. So make sure you put the pictures of your cork ones up in the group so I can see what they look like. I'm anxious to see what they look like. Yes, the Flowery Honey had those little micro tip scissors. Yes, and I can't find them. They're down in my drawer somewhere. I haven't dug deep enough, evidently. All right, so we're going to do our leaves. Now, when I did this, I had to play around a little bit with this design because I wanted to make sure that the leaves, they're kind of satin stitches, and I didn't want them to rip through my leather. So I increased the size of the flower a little bit so that it would not go through my leather. I had a little trouble with the first one that I did, so I had to go back and redo. So, okay, let's see here. What's the next color? I think we're using maybe emerald green next. Okay. Everybody has got really good questions. I'm trying to read them as I'm going here. Welcome, everybody. There's still people coming in. Hello, everybody. Yeah, the cork, there's so many different patterns in the cork, so I bet that would be really neat. Just depends on what you have. And then I think the vinyl would look really nice. So if you use the vinyl, you'll need to put your vinyl down, trim it, and then remember to press it with a pressing cloth and an iron, okay? Hi, everybody. I've still got people coming in. So this is step number 6. And this is the leaves, and then we're going to do some outlines on them. Hopefully you can see okay. You know, it's funny because when I see the picture, it looks very dark, but then when I go look at it on the screen, like if I go look at it on my TV, it's not dark at all. So I don't know. It's just, wait, whoops, second here. Something sounded funny. Let's see what something sounded funny. Did you hear the funny noise? You see. I think it's okay though. You look at it, make sure nothing caught. I don't think so. I'll just put the bobbin in again. Sometimes if you hear a funny noise, it's better to stop, rethread the machine, and just make sure everything's okay, you know? It's always better to be safe than sorry, right? We'll back up a little bit. So that happens. We're going to back up a little bit. I'm going to hit the negative positive needle here. By the way, this is the Avenir. We're just going to go back maybe 20 stitches or so. How about 30? There we go. All right. I'm going to rethread the top too, just to make sure everything's okay. Yeah, if I hear something funny, I usually stop and I kind of go back and check to make everything's all right. All right. Let's see if we can get through. I think we're okay. It kind of comes off the edge of that embroidery leather, and it is kind of thick. So I think that's what I heard. All right. I know, isn't it turning out pretty? I kind of like the flower. I like flowers. I can't grow them, but I love to put them on stuff. Oh, cool. You're dusting off your luminaire and your scanning cut. Yeah, so the My Connection thing is for your scanning cut. If you have a scanning cut 300 series machine, like a 325 or a 330, then you install this upgrade onto the machine, and it gives you these extra little fun things to do, and then you can send things back and forth directly to the machine and the scanning cut from your sewing machine to the scanning cut. So I was able to get that installed on my Avenir here, and then I also installed it on my luminaire at the store. So I'm going to do a class with that. I haven't had a chance to sit down and really work with it. So that's the next one of the next things. We'll probably do that in April. Well, not in April. We'll probably do it in May. So we'll do it in May. I just want to sit down and do some of the little techniques that they have in the book. And then next month we're going to have a fun with embroidered pictures. So this is going to be, whoops, got to hit the threader button. This is going to be the outlines, and this is emerald green. So this is step number 7. So we're going to have some fun with, in April, fun with embroidered pictures. So there's a couple of ways of embroidering pictures, and a lot of us have the Brother PE design software or the Baby Lock palette software, and there's a wonderful photo stitch in there that we can do photographs and make them, take a photograph and make it into embroidery stitches. And yes, Marina, I'm getting that. So the second class in April, we're going to be playing with picture play in the Avenir. So the Avenir, they stuck this new, I wanted to show you some of the stuff on the Avenir, because they stuck this little thing in called picture play. And it's kind of like photo stitch, but it's more like, it has like options of different types of pictures. So some of them are more cartoony and sketchy and all this stuff. And so we're going to play with that in the machine because I'd like to see what results I can get and we're going to use the same picture because I'd like to use the same picture in Photo Stitch that I've used for a long time for the classes and use it in the photo play to see what I can get, the picture play, to see what I can get, the changes and the differences. So we're going to be playing with that. So I haven't got the second class ready yet, but the first one is already advertised and we're going to do the Photo Stitch one first. No, the CM350 won't upgrade. It's a good machine, but it won't upgrade anymore. Yeah, the Photo Stitch is pretty cool. I've been doing photo stitches for many, many years, and I love them, and that's like one of my favorite things. And so, no, the Luminaire does not have the picture play. It's just the Avenir. So I've been trying to do a few things that are in the Avenir so that, because I know there's a bunch of you that have them now. And I just got mine. So I've been trying to do some things that are just in the Avenir just to show people why you would want to upgrade. You know, a lot of people say, well, why do I want to upgrade? But there are quite a few things in it that are not in the Luminaire. Can I do classes on sublimation window stickers? I don't know that I've ever tried. I didn't know I could do window stickers with sublimation. I have a sublimation printer. It's really fun. So we might do some more sublimation this summer, because I haven't done one. I haven't done a class with a sublimation for a while. I really like my sublimation printer. I have the Brother sublimation printer. Okay, so I got a little tail here, so let's get that out of the way. Okay, so there's our leaves. And let's see, I think maybe we're on to flowers now. This is step number 8, and it's flesh pink. So we're going to do the light color of the flowers. Yeah, the CM350, there's a 350, a 650. You know, some of those old ones, they were good machines. But the new machines are, I have to say, I was very glad I upgraded from the 200 series to the 300 series because I'm really liking my new scan and cut. I kept my 200 for my 230D for a long, long time. I really, really liked it. And I just hated to get rid of it. So I decided to try out the new one so I could get that photo play thing or that my connection business. So I wanted to try that. So it's been fun. Okay, so we were ready for the flower. We're going to do the light color on the flower, and that is step number 8, and it's flesh pink. The scan, you have that, yeah. So the Stellaire also has my connection available, but you have to have one of the newer machines. So the Stellaires, Altaires, Meridians have that feature, and so does the Avenir and the Luminaire. And the Baby Locks, I'm sorry, the Baby Locks do not have the My Connection, it's just the Brothers. So it'd be like the Stellaires, the Avenirs, and the Luminaires. Yeah, so I'm anxious to play with that a little bit. I'm really, that's something that that's why I went ahead and upgraded, just so I could try that. So looks like it might be fun. I saw a couple people using it, just sending things back and forth. I'm like, wow, that's really fast. Because I've always just used the USB stick, you know. So that it's nice that it can go directly to the machine. So I thought that was pretty awesome. All right, let's see. I think then the next color is going to be, the shading in the flowers. That's the pink. So that's number 85 pink. Yes, I kept, so Maureen, you have a Radiance and you have a Luminaire. Yes. So the Radiance, the Baby Locks can't work with the scan and cut. It's just the Brothers that work with the scan and cut. The best embroidery speed to use. Marie, I would tell you to use, I sew at about 800, but if you're using Floriani breaks more, especially if you're sewing through something stiff. like this paper's kind of stiff. I use a different thread. I use Brother thread instead of Floriani. The Floriani thread's really soft. I like it. It's really pretty, but it's very soft, and it does shred a little bit more depending on what you're using for stabilizer. And that Peltex may make it shred a little bit, because the Peltex is a little rough, you know. Just has a real soft coating on it. All right, so we're going to use this one. Oh yeah, this stitches out very quickly. So now we're going to put the little shading in the flower here. And then I think we're ready for the outline of the flower. This is step 9. Oh yeah, these cards go real quick. So embroidery speed, I sew at about 800. If you're having trouble with shredding, slow it down, like maybe to 600 might be helpful. But it could just be what you're sewing on. The Peltex is, and if you have some other polyester thread, I use Brother thread and Madeira thread, and I don't get the shredding I got when I was sewing through, especially when I'm sewing through odd things. Like we're not sewing on like a normal stuff. We're sewing on Peltex. So sometimes that makes a difference. I have more shredding in the winter too, because the Floriani is also a little bit on the staticky side. So I get it a little bit more in the winter. Now this is dark brown. This is the old dark brown 058, and that's what we're going to do the outline of the flower with. So yeah, so the new website will be Busy Bees, and I will have to probably go through some of my videos and direct people to Busy Bees for the product. So, because a lot of the links are not going to be working right now because I took them down from the Shield Sewing Center website. All right, so this is our outline for our flower. And then I think we need, then we're going to do the Easter blessings. I think I did that one in gold. That's this was deep gold, 214, deep gold. I think I wrote it as 219, but it's 214. Sorry, guys. I think I have enough here. This one, we may be playing thread chicken with this one. I use a lot of this color. It makes a nice, it looks metallic, even though it's not. And so I use this gold quite a bit. Okay. Usually takes me 2 times to find that cutter. I never get it the first time. Okay, now we're gonna type, we're gonna spell out Easter blessings, and this is step number 11. Print the sticker. You print the sticker on window frame. I just saw. Oh, so they must have something that they use for the. You mean, and that was done with Teresa. It was done with sublimation. Oh, interesting. Yeah, those would be cool because they'd look sort of like stained glass, wouldn't they? But that would be really cool because they'd show nice in the window and the sun would shine through them. Yeah, so this is stitching out real quick. So remember, there's always 2 parts to these. We're going to do the top part. This is the applique patch that we're going to put onto the cardstock. So the next part will be done with the cardstock. And I think I'm sewing at about 800 right now. Yeah, the sublimation is really fun. I have a few videos on sublimation, Teresa, but not too many yet. I got a little bit waylaid this summer because I had a terrible allergy. And I just didn't feel very well all summer. And I got away from I was working a lot with my sublimation right before it happened. So I need to get back to sublimation this summer. That'll be something I'll be glad to get back to. Yeah, that'd be really pretty though, Teresa. I think it'd be fun
to make something like that because they make them look like stained glass kind of. That's cool. I'll see if I can, if you think of it, can you find the link to the video for me and send it to me? That'd be really cool. So then we're going to trim this out and make this is our little patch then that we're going to put on the cardstock. So here's what we're working on here. I'll show this to you a little bit closer up. So here's the patch we're doing, and then we're going to applique it onto the piece of cardstock. Now the reason why I like doing cards this way is because when you open up this beautiful card, there's no ugly stitches on the back. It's all beautiful and covered up. So that's why I really love cards this way. It's getting pretty close. These were really fun. I had fun digitizing these. It didn't take me too long. I kind of had them in my brain. So I just had to get them out on the... That's the one thing I really like about these cards. I love making cards. And I make a lot of, traditional cards just with the paper without the embroidery. But most embroidered cards, it's really hard to make them look pretty on the back because of this thread. Because nothing sticks to the bobbin thread too well. Like the papers and stuff, it will stick to it, but then it kind of looks weird on the back. So these are cool because you don't see any of them. Okay. So here is our little patch. All done. So that's the first part of our card. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take this out of the hoop. I'll lay my hoop down here on the floor. And then I'm going to take a pair of scissors, and I have a good pair of Ginger shears here that I'm going to do this with. And we're going to cut. So depending on which one, right, the CM machines do not work with my connection. It has to be one of the DX models. So the DX 325 and 330D. The 200 series do not work with the my connection. So when we do this, depending on which shape you're doing, because some of them are square, some of them are rectangular, like this one, okay, and some of them are oval. So the rectangular one, there's going to be 2 lines here, and you're gonna cut along the quilting line, the line right outside the quilting, to cut it down. Okay. The oval one, of course, we're going to be cutting along that same line, the one next to the quilting, but it's going to be oval instead. So I'm just going to take my scissors and I'm just going to trim, and just try not to cut through your stitches. And I'm just cutting just outside of them. And try to keep it, as pretty as possible. The little decorative edge will cover it up. Try to keep it as smooth as you can, when you're working on this. So I'm just going to trim it. I thought it turned out pretty. This one took me a little while because I couldn't get the flower quite right. It was because that that embroidery leather, I didn't want it to go poke through it, so I had to alter the size a little bit to make it work. So then that way it'll work better, like if you use cork or if you use heat transfer vinyl. All right, so we're cutting around this. Oops, I think I did pretty well there. Whoops, I don't want to cut into my stitches though. There we go. Okay. All right, so there's our patch, and I'm just going to get rid of this. Yeah, I just thought it was pretty. I like flowers, and I thought it looked really nice with the embroidery leather. So now you might have some little threads back here, and you don't want any threads sticking out along the edge. So if you have some kind of towards the edge, I'm just going to trim these down a little bit. You don't want them sticking out when you go to put this on your card. So we're just going to trim some of these threads that are kind of close to the edge. The ones that are inside are fine, but if there's anything out along the edge, get those trimmed off to get out of the way. All right. There we go. Okay, so there's our patch ready for our card. Do you do my own? Oh yeah, these are all my own designs. Yep. I love to digitize. That's my favorite thing to do. All right, so now we've got our patch. So now we're moving on. It says remove the design from the hoop, trim around the oval close to the stitches to form an applique patch, and that's what we've got. Then we're going to go into to the second half of our design. So we're going to go get part 2. So let's go back over here, and I'm going to go back to the home page, and I'm going to go back to my little envelope where the little pocket here where my I sent them over with design database transfer. So now we're going to do this one right here. So the one with the oval. Okay. And I'm going to hit that one. I'm going to hit set. Thanks, everybody. I'm glad you like the designs. So here's the little oval that we're going to use. And I did this one in kind of a purple color. All right, so let's go ahead. And now, of course, we're going to need a second hooping. So I actually have, just a second here, I've got another hoop back here. If I can reach it. So this is the paper. You know, I've got the paper in here. Which digitizing software I use? I use the Dime Perfect Embroidery Pro. I've been using Dime software for years and years, and I love it. So I scored this with my scissors, and I'm just gonna pull this out. So I already had it scored. I don't like to score on my sewing machine with my scissor tips. So I always do this over on my cutting board, my cutting table. So, yep. So I use the Dime and Perfect Embroidery Pro software. All right. So we're going to put this one in. So we got our stabilizer. And, you know, I think I'm going to pull since we're going back on the stabilizer again, I'm going to pull my bobbin thread out again. So I'm going to pull this out and leave it the tail because we're going to be sewing on that paper again, and sometimes it doesn't pick up the bobbin thread. So I like to do that when I start on the stabilizer only. And that works well for most any of the stabilizers. Okay, so we got our patch here. We have, I think I'm going to use white thread to start with because you want to use something that matches your fabric normally is what works the best. So I had white fabric, so we'll use white thread because the decorative stitch is kind of a motif. So it's a little bit open and you don't want the stitches to show through it. I think you might notice it more if you could use a matching to your decorative stitch, but I think you notice it because it's going to look like straight lines. So I've been doing mine in the same white as my fabric. Do you ever use a thread spool stand? I have my spool stand up here. It's right on the back top of my machine. I use it all the time. It's right here. Yep. Yes, Dime software is very user friendly. I've been teaching software for 20 years and I love PE design and I've always loved it, but I'll tell you, people don't get it as easily as they get Dime. The palette and PE design are wonderful softwares, but they have a lot of parts and it's hard to know where you have to be to do something. And so Dime has one screen. It's wonderful. So, okay. So the second half here says to hoop the stabilizer, which we did, remove the cover, to expose the tacky surface. Now we're going to use white and we're going to do our applique. We're going to do our cardstock applique placement line. So we're going to put this cardstock in next. I'm going to find my piece of cardstock. Where did I put it? Oh, here it is. So we're going to take that white piece of cardstock. Make sure I don't. Okay. Now on this one, you want to be pretty accurate. So I often will stand up when I do this so I can get over the top of it. And you want to be real accurate where you're putting it in here and have it good and straight, okay? So I like to stand up when I do this so I can look down to make sure it's good and straight. So this one's real important to get straight. Okay, and then I'm going to stick the cardstock down to that tacky stabilizer. All right. Then the next step is going to show us where we're going to put our patch. Which dime modules do I have? I have I have quite a few now. I have perfect, you know what? This is still crooked. I'm going to have to stand up again, guys, just a second. If it looks crooked to you, boy, I'll tell you, it'll look crooked on the card too. So I don't want somebody to get a crooked card. We'll just try this again. I have Perfect Embroidery Pro, Word Art and Stitches, My Lace Maker, Block Piecer, Perfect Stitch Viewer. I think I have the Patch and Applique Maker. I have about 6 of them. Yes, so this is, yes, so I didn't tell you about this. So I use somebody asked if I'm using Jeannie K's Master Layouts. Yes, I am. So this is actually Master Layouts 1. Jeannie K Designs has these wonderful dies that are all set up for you for sizes. And this is Master Layouts 1, but the stitch die is in Master Layouts 14. So I've used 1 and 14 for this. I like to use my die cutting machine, and it makes that pretty stitch line. So this is Master Layouts 14 from Jeannie K Designs, and the rest of it is in Master Layouts 1. So this is the layer in Master Layouts 1. Okay. All right, so we got that in there. I got it nice and straight now. So now the next step is going to actually do our little oval. So that is step number 2. We'll get our little oval in here. And then, gotta find my glue stick. Now we're ready for some glue stick. The Dime software is still being called Dime by OESD. And so the new store that I'm going to be working for, Busy Bees, is also an OESD dealer. So we will also have the Dime software. So yeah, the Dime software is awesome. All right, so now I'm going to take my glue stick and I'm going to turn my little applique patch over here, and I'm just going to put some glue stick on my applique patch because that's going to hold it down for me. And this is fabric glue stick. This is the Dritz fabric glue stick. You know, Regina, I don't know Embrilliance very well. I had the Baby Lock Embroidery Works, I think is what they called it, and it was made by Embrilliance. It was good software. I think the Dime software is easier to learn, but I know a lot of people really like Embrilliance, so I think it's good software. So I'm laying this in that line, and you want to be careful, especially with this cross, considering it's kind of like an up and down thing. Make sure you don't get it a little bit crooked. And I'm going to press that down. Want it right on the line. So I'm pressing it down real well, okay? And then we're going to put this back in, and the next line is going to sew this down. So you may want to hold it a little bit, and it's just going to barely catch it, okay? Do you love Embrilliance? I had the other software from Baby Lock, and Embrilliance made it for them. But I had been using the Dime software for so many years that I'm familiar with that, and I like the other software, but I had to do more clicking to get something done that I wanted to do. But I think it's really good software because a lot of people really like it. And I know a lot of people that use it. Okay, so we've got our applique patch all down to our card now, so we won't have to worry about it. And now we're ready for the last step, which is going to be our pretty decorative outline. And I use this pretty purple. This one is violet. Yeah, the dime is good software. I've just really, now, you know, this one, I'm going to show you a trick here. This, can you see some of these brother threads like to do this, that the little thing at the bottom where the thread's supposed to go in, they won't stay shut anymore. So, oh, hi, Jackie. Jackie's one of my students from Davenport, so I'm so glad that you're here. Yep, so Jackie's in Davenport. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay this down, and it's technically backwards. You put the big end to the right. I'm going to lay this one down because then it won't catch in that little crack that's open because it won't close. And you do not put a cap up here. Just put it on the spool pin and don't put a cap on. Okay. And then we're just going to thread the machine. So this one we're going to lay down just because of the problem it has. It's like, oops, sorry, I just whacked the camera. So we'll get this threaded in here. Okay. See if we can get it to thread. Oh, for thread trims, you know, the little bunny's eyes, there may be a little jump stitch in there. They're pretty close together. So yes, you might need to trim those. Not, the machine will only trim just so if it's too close, they won't trim. So you may have to trim the bunny's eyes. Yeah. All right. So now we're going to do our decorative border. So we're going to get our purple on here. All right. Now, the first one I did, I'll show this one to you too. I haven't got this one glued together yet. But the first one I did with the pink, and I ended up liking the purple better. You'll have to let me know if you like the purple or the original one I did in pink. But I think I like the purple better. It needed a little darker border. This needed to stop a little bit more. Yeah, so Marie, you may need to trim between the little eyes because they're very close together. She was asking about the jump clips, and some, like mine, didn't leave a long line, but I did have a couple of little jump clips in here. So you may have to couple little jump clips. All right. And this way, remember, all the ugly stuff is on the back of this. So see, it's not showing. And then there'll be a little bit of, you know, ugly thread on the back of this white piece. And by putting, you know, a piece like this on, and that covers that up too. Regina, I will put a list in the description below this video. If you would like me to put a list of some of the stuff that I use in this for the actual paper crafting part. I also have 2 other videos. I have other videos that I've got those in the description below too. That it shows the items I use and how to use them, and then I talk more about what I used and where to get them there. Okay, you like the purple better? Good. I do not use spray adhesive. I am not a spray adhesive person. I used it one time, and it was all over my house and all over my cat, so I never used it again. I put it in a box, and I did like 2 little squirts, and it was all over the house. So I have never used spray adhesive again. So yeah, so who asked me? Regina asked me about the card maker. So Regina, if you can get to the videos, the other videos, and I'll just put them in the description below here. That will also give you a lot of links, and I'll link some more stuff in this video. Like the purple? The glue stick is just to hold the patch down, Marie. It doesn't really like glue it down. It's just holding it in place so that I can get it down to get it stitched down. So it won't show. It's down, you know, it's underneath. The other glue that I'm going to use when I put this together is a craft glue, and it dries clear, so you won't have any yellowing. Yeah, I thought it needed to be darker. This didn't stop my eye enough. Like the pink is really pretty, but it just didn't stop. You know, it kind of kept going because the flower is pink. So I like the purple too. So it's about done. Takes a little bit to get her all the way around there. Yes, so I use dies for these and for the little black panels. You can just cut them yourself, but I really like the dies because when you use paper dies, it gives you like a little bevel on the edges of things, and it just makes it look really finished. And then I use some paper cutters and the special, my little glue gun. We're going to use the glue gun here in a minute. So these are some of the things I've learned by making regular cards. But then I can make them and use them in my embroidery as well. So I thought that was pretty cool. But Gina K Designs is where I get a lot of my dies and stuff. All right, so I think we're around. Woohoo, we made it. All right. All right, so there is our card. What do you think? We're gonna put this card together so you can see what it looks like. Okay. So now I'm going to take this out. Now, when you want to be a little careful when you take these out, because remember, we are working with paper. And this stabilizer is sticky. So I'm going to turn this over. I've got a couple of threads here, so we're going to trim a little bit here. I always get a long thread when I leave the bobbin out. So we'll just get some of these out of the way here. And then I like to trim these little tails. Don't cut through the knots, but we don't want the little knots to get in the way when we're gluing this together. So when you pull this away, take your finger along your little stitches here. And remember, we're working with paper. And then this, we want to pull it back and put your finger at the edge when you pull back your stabilizer so you won't rip your stitches. Okay, so we're just going to work our way around here. Yeah, the purple's really pretty. I like that violet. It's not a real dark purple, but it's so brilliant. Yeah, this is one of the old colors from Brother. So, all right. So I'm just whoops. I want to be careful up here on this tip here. You got to be a little careful on the edges. You don't want to rip your paper. So sometimes the stabilizer gets a little overly sticky. There we go. Okay, I think I got a little piece to get rid of yet here. Like that. And I just leave it in the middle. I just leave the stabilizer in the middle there. So I think we're good. I get it all off on the edges. So I'm looking at my edges there. I think we're good. So there's our patch. That's going to go on our little piece of black to just pop it out. Now, one thing that Gina always does, Gina K, I love to watch Gina K. She's in Wisconsin. She's a wonderful, wonderful card making teacher from Wisconsin. And so she always likes to put a little pop of black in things. And, you know, the pop of black just really stops your eye when you see things. So that's why I love to put these little black panels back here. And then see, look, then there's not going to be any ugly stuff showing either. See? All right. So now we're going to put this together. So when I started doing these, I found you can use like tape runner and stuff. But this is a little stiff, you know, and it's a little thick because it's got that embroidery on there. Oh, are you using the Brother thread too, Maureen? I love Brother thread. Yeah, I use that in Madeira rayon, or sorry, Madeira poly neon normally. So what I found is if I used the tape runner, this wouldn't hold down to the card because it needs to be stickier. Okay, so what works best is using a good craft glue. Now, again, this is Nuvo. There's a lot of really good craft glues like Barely Art Glue and Art Glitter Glue. There's a lot of good ones. So it depends on what you like the best. But I'm going to take then And this is I love this thing. This is called the Precision Glue Press. It's from My Sweet Petunia. And I'm going to glue the back of this. So we're going to glue along the edges here. We want to make sure we get all the way out to the edges. And this glue dries clear, so don't worry. Go all the way out to the edges here, and then I will put some glue in the middle as well. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue in the middle there, and that's where the stabilizer still is, okay? Whoop. Got to get my glue gun. I'm going to set it over there so I won't lose it. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to stand up. I'm going to turn this over, and there's going to be about 1/8 of an inch all the way around. It's very small. Actually, not even that much, hardly. So I want to get it lined up. I'm a little high, so I need to wiggle it down. I normally don't glue on my sewing machine, but you know, that's where the camera is tonight. So I usually do this on my table out in the other room. Okay, so I'm going to get it all lined up. And then with these, you got to put it on your flat surface and you got to go along the edges so that it really sticks. And it takes a couple times going around to get it to stick down, but press down on it and get it to stick, because it's going to be a little bit, it's going to take a few minutes for it to go down and really stick hard. That's why I found out that the tape runner just isn't sticky enough to stick. So you really need to use craft glue. So I'm going to go all the way around the edges here. Oh yeah, I will definitely list the glue gun in the description. I haven't got it in there yet, but I'll do it yet tonight. But that is the most awesome thing. And I found it, I've had it quite a while now, but I love it. Okay. So I think that looks pretty good. Sure, I press down in the middle a little bit here. Okay, let's see how it looks on the edges. And so you should have nice tight edges. That looks good. Okay, so there's our little outline. Teeny little black outline. And it just makes your eyes stop. That's the one thing I've always liked about the black. And Gina's right, it just makes your eye stop. It's just like and it just has a little pop to it. And then we're going to get our card base. A second. I just dropped my, let's see, where did my card base go? I've got stuff all over the place here, guys. Let's see. It's here. Oh, here it is. Okay. So here's our card base. And this is one of Gina Kay's, actually, her papers. I get a lot of her paper too. This is called Butterscotch. Isn't that a pretty color? I don't know. I just thought that was such a pretty color. It's kind of a lighter version of the Easter Blessings thread color. I just thought that was so pretty. All right, so then we're going to turn this over. We're going to do the same thing with this. And this piece you could use. A tape runner, a good tape runner that really sticks well if you want. But I usually just still use glue here just because I know it's going to stick. Okay. Just put the glue on there. I know, isn't that little stitches? See, that's done with that dye. And I just love those. So then I'm going to stand up. Now this one opens at the top. So I'm going to lay it down here. We're going to get it all lined up. And there's not going to be a real big border around it. I use the bigger, she has 2 master layouts for these smaller cards. And one of them gives you a bigger border around the outside for the card base. But I wanted to have more room for embroidery. So I used the one that has less room on the outside because I wanted to have more room for embroidery. So that's why I use, this is master layouts 1 instead of 2 is a smaller one. So that I found out that worked better for the embroidery, I thought. Okay, so let's make sure this is going to stuck down like that. And then if you want to give this to somebody, see, then they can set it up, it's like a little easel. So when you set it up like that, when it opens at the top, so you can set up like that. Isn't that neat? So then they can have a little piece of artwork that they can sit on their desk. So I like the top fold cards like this. So instead of opening like a book, they open this way. Like that. Isn't that cool? So there is our Easter card. What do you think of that? I'm going to make the other one tonight too before I go to bed. I like that the little one with the bunny. I thought it was so cute. So, all right. So we did it. Great. I'm so glad you like it. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah, I think making cards like this, you know, we don't think about, I had never really sent a lot of cards, and I send so many more cards now. And I enjoy making cards. It's sort of like embroidery. It's just you're using paper instead. So, but isn't that cool? Okay, so somebody's going to win this card. And yes, I'll link all the bunch of stuff in the video below when I get done tonight. I'll do some links, and I'll link some more of my videos too. So if you go to Sew Along with Jan, and the playlist is Embroidered Cards, and so there's all kinds of stuff in there. And I did 2 videos that were pre-recorded that just talked about how to cut out the card bases and how I cut them out, and what kind of dies I used. I showed the dies in there, and I showed just using a paper cutter. So there's all different ways to do this. But I really like the dies because I love that little stitch line. Isn't that pretty on there? All right, I know, isn't it? You could just frame that. Isn't that pretty? I think they're pretty. I have a lot of fun making them. Okay, so let me go switch this camera, and we're going to have a drawing. So what do you think? Got to get the microphone fixed here. And the camera. I wish they'd stop moving things around on me on StreamYard. I'm still, whoops. Yeah, okay, there we go. I'm still having a little trouble finding things. That they keep moving stuff around. Okay, so these are available on my website. These 2 cards. This is the other one. Okay, so here's the other one that has the little bunnies on it. Happy Easter. Okay. And then I have the pre-cut Peltex pieces. So this is the A2 sizes this is the size you would need for these cards. And then some of the cards I have, there's more cards up there too. And some of the cards are 5x7. So this is the ones for the 5x7s. Okay, so let's see who's going to win the card tonight. I want to make sure I give you the one that we made in the class. So, okay. Now you made your comments. That's how you win. You do need to send me your mailing address, and it has to be somebody in the US. I can't ship out of the country. I'm so sorry, everybody. So, yeah. So if you want some more cards, I've got a bunch more cards. If you want to make, I got Christmas cards and all occasion cards, Valentine cards, Halloween cards. So got a bunch of new ones. Okay, so let me put my email up here. So you need to send me, email me at janshieldsewing@gmail.com with your mailing address, and I'll mail you the card, whoever gets to win tonight. So it's always exciting to see who wins. So, all right, let me go ahead and do the little drawing here. All right, let's see who wins tonight. It's Dari Barber, 3470. Is it Dari or Dari? DARIBARBER, 3470. I know you're here. Okay. Is that how you say your name, Dari? Is it Dari or Dari? I'm not sure. Let me know how you say it. All right. Her store is awesome. Okay, so are you there? Yep. So it's Dari Barber. DARIBARBER. You're the winner of the card. So make sure you send me your email, or email me your mailing address, and I will mail you this card tomorrow. So, all right. And also let me know how you say your name, because a lot of you, I can see your names on here, but I don't know exactly how you pronounce them. So I don't mean to mispronounce them. So let me know how you pronounce all your names. So.
Okay. So in 2 weeks, so it will be April 1st, right? April Fool's Day. I think that's the day we have class. Seems like that. I was putting that up, and I put up the photo stitch class. So yeah, April 1st. So it'll be April 1st and April 15th. We will have our 2 classes in April. I'm going to have an extra day off because there's 5 Wednesdays in April, so I'll have 1 extra off. Pronounced like Dairy Queen, so like Dairy Barber. Okay, Dairy. That's cool. Thank you, Dairy. I appreciate that. I appreciate you letting me know. So go ahead and email me at janshieldsewing@gmail.com to send me your mailing address, and I'll send it out to you. And then, so in 2 weeks, on April 1st, we're going to do some photo stitch, and this will be software. This will be a software class. So we're going to work with PE Design, photo stitch. It's also in the Baby Lock palette software. So that photo stitch module. And if you have an older version, like maybe the version 9, that will work as well, 9, 10, and 11. So I can explain a little bit about 9 and 10 too. I will be using 11. And yes, the second class in April will be, we're going to talk about the Avenir. And it's, let me show you this. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to show you, but it's called Picture Play. And it's in the Avenir. So it kind of does the same thing as photo stitch, but it's in the Avenir. So it's kind of cool. And I haven't used it too much, but we're going to do some comparisons about what, I've been doing photo stitch in the software for many, many years. And it's going to take a lot to make the machine beat that, because it's pretty awesome. So we'll talk more about that in a couple weeks. But so April will just be, we'll be having fun with photos, embroidered photos. I just wanted to do something for fun and something different. So, okay. So I'll see you on April 1st, and we'll do some photo stitch. And if you have any questions or anything, you can find me at janshieldsewing@gmail.com, or you can message me through Facebook. So, and then join us on our Facebook group. If you're not in the Facebook group, it is Sew Along with Jan on Facebook. So come join us, and make sure you subscribe to Sew Along with Jan on YouTube, so that way you don't miss anything. Okay. So thanks, everybody. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.